Let's get started placing some content, beginning with the text node. So if you click here on the text button, let's go ahead and click default, and you'll see the text appear in the center of the screen. You can move it around in the preview window when you hover over and see these 4 arrows. You can also move it around locked to the Y and X axis by hovering over the boxes on the top, bottom, and sides. The circles in the corner will allow you to rotate your content, and if you hover over the edge of the box and resize, it will scale everything up and down proportionally. As I'm moving this object around, you'll see that the values over here in the general inspector are updating. So this indicates another way that you can modify nodes, is you can go over here and type into these inputs, zero things out, for example. You can also enable or disable a node if you want to place something and just get an idea of how it will look or what have you. So that's an option that's always available. Note that we have these K and C buttons next to these attributes. That signifies that those attributes can be animated. We'll be going over that in another part of the tutorial. Most of these should be pretty self-explanatory. We can modify the scale independently, the X and Y independently using these buttons here. You'll notice that as I hover over the right side of the inputs, that gives me this range selector, which will allow me to precisely move things up and down in that way. A note on placement. So right now, the 0, 0 position goes to the center, and the aspect ratio that we currently support is 9:16 with a reference resolution of 1080 by 1960 pixels. So that means that if we were to, for example, create a shape node, a rectangle, and we make it exactly 1080 by 1920, that will exactly cover the space of the canvas. So we have support for other resolutions coming in the future, but for now we're focusing on support for this aspect ratio, which shows up well on mobile devices in particular, and also shows up fine on desktop and other devices. There are certain properties that you can only manipulate in the general inspector, including the opacity. So we can turn that up and turn that down, like so. And we also have color that we can manipulate. Font families we'll go over in the next section when we talk about importing assets and dealing with images and such. Text wrap is a good thing to go over. You'll notice that if we just type into this box, let me scale my text down for a moment. If we type into this box, it just keeps going on and on and on. To get more of a paragraph functionality, you can press this button to enable word wrap, and that will give you a default value of 1040. You can adjust that to get an idea of how your text can look as you type words into it further. And here I am typing further into the box. A key thing to note, and you'll see this notice here underneath the content, is that on some small browsers, the word wrap may be inconsistent. So if you are looking for precision, I recommend coming into here, and after you get the general placement using the word wrap, come in here and manually add the line breaks. So right here, for example, we need to add a line break in after further. So go and add that line break, and then you can turn word wrap width off. And this will make sure that your text renders consistently across all browsers. If you don't need precision, that's not something you need to worry too much about, but it's an important caveat that I thought I should mention. And we also have letter spacing and line height, which should be pretty self-explanatory. filters and logic we'll go over in another part of the tutorial. These features are a bit more advanced and start going into some of the power that you can get out of Scroll Cinema and creating some immersive animations and content.